Ang bahaging ito ay hatid sa inyo ng Smart Sports.
Oh, I used to love beating Ginebra. Oh my God. It was so fun beating Ginebra. Oh, Mark Aguirre, JJ. Oh, it was so we would go at it, talking trash and all. It was so fun.
Ang bahaging ito ay hatid sa inyo ng Nickel Asia Corporation. After your rookie season with Wellcoat, what was it like for you to join a team that had a heavily structured culture like Alaska?
I Nothing against rain or shine. I mean, everybody knows that's where I got. Everybody that knows basketball in the PBA, they know. That's where I got drafted at Welco. But I still like to say my career really started my second year in the league, my first year with Alaska. Again, no disrespect to Welco and Rain or Shine and all them, but it was just that's when I really took on the learning of being in a real culture, in a system. I mean, look what happened. It paid off. So it was very beneficial for me to go to somewhere that's structured and something like that. I needed that as a player. And I mean, thankfully I blossomed under Coach Tim and the start of Alaska. So it was great.
Okay, well, what started you and Tim Cohn getting close to each other?
I mean, me, to be honest, I was just being a young knucklehead kid, trying to make it in the PV Finland kid, and like actually, like I didn't know about the culture, like actually being there in the Philippines. So, I mean, my PBL season and then my first few years in the PBA was really a great learning lesson for myself, just to grow up as a man in a foreign country. It was foreign to me, even though it was out, I'm still Filipino, but it was still foreign to me. And it was an eye opener, but I mean, man, it just kind of opened my horizons and everything just towards life. I was so stuck in what I knew just as an American and just being in a small town in El Paso. I was just so stuck in that small town mentality. I mean, I always knew I wanted more, but that's all I knew was just being in El Paso, and there was a whole nother world out there, and Philippines thankfully opened up my eyes to that. So it was my experience in the Philippines goes way further than just basketball. Basketball just opened up the doors. So I mean, again, I'm thankful for all the ups, all the downs, how it ended, everything. It was such a blessing for me to be a part of all that.
Okay, do you still remember your first championship with Alaska?
I want to
Because there
say
are
it
so
was with
many, right?
Diamond Simpson. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm not even gonna lie to you, and I'm not saying this to be cocky. I can't even remember all of them, but I think I do remember my first one. It was with Diamond Simpson, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. It was the
before they
import
changed the
conference with
height.
Diamond. Yep, yep. We beat San Miguel when they had Freeman. So when I first go to Alaska, I remember the first conference. We make it. My very
Mhm.
first conference with Alaska, we make it to the finals, to the championship. And then we played against Talking Tex, and Talking Tex had that crazy team, Matt Cardona. I mean, stacked. Talking Tex is always stacked, right? And then there we go, Alaska with second year Joe Devance and all that. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it was a little intimidating making it to the finals. And then I remember like it was yesterday, me stepping up to the free throw line, missing two free throws. Willie Miller missing two free throws. We get the rebound. We end up missing. I mean, we had our chances of winning that thing, but I mean, things fell short, and I know I missed clutch free throws. I was so nervous and scared.
How did you feel when Coach Tim left, Alaska and shocked everybody?
I had my time at Alaska. I want to say I was there about 3-4 years, and I end up going first to
Yes.
BMEG. Right? I get traded first to BMEG, and then I played a conference with Coach George. That was a little different. And again, too, I found a lot of success. I mean, we only won one championship in those 3 or 4 years, but we were making it to the finals.
Yeah.
Like, we always had that chance of making it to the finals. So people knew we were good, right, at Alaska. So I went first, and that was a big change. But then I played one conference without Coach Tim, And then after that, yeah, he shortly came over there to Pure Foods. And then again, I mean, I want to say we because I want to throw myself in there, but it was mostly Coach Tim. He just again he changed the culture, and
Yeah.
then with me, I was able to help implement all the stuff that we had at Alaska with our new guys. With James, I mean, imagine James Yap, PJ, Ping, Mark Baroka, all those guys buying into a
Wow.
system. I mean, of course we were going to be good. You know what I mean? All these great top 50 players or whatever it is in the league buying into one system. Of course of course we're going to be good.
Why was
You
the
know,
triangle so effective for you? Because some players never even get it at all.
I wasn't the fastest guy out there. I wasn't the biggest, the strongest, but I think my IQ was probably one of the highest in the league throughout my whole career, and on top of that, you put my selflessness. Coach Tim he really knew how to have his teams buy in, and it took a long time because even at Alaska, I was still trying to figure it out. I don't want to say I was selfish, but I'm young. I want to get numbers. That's all I'm thinking about. But I was still not selfish, even though I was young and all of that. And I'm trying to get points and I'm trying to get MVPs. And I care about the stats, younger in my career. But I still wasn't selfish. I never did it selfishly. I always loved my teammates. And that was one thing that I think that was the recipe for me and Coach Tim's success was my selflessness and my willingness to just pick up the team. Whatever the team needed, I was there to do it. Yeah.
Nobody knows this story, but that was a frustrating time for Ginebra while you guys were over at Pure Foods or San Mig Coffee or whatever. Well, what happened to carry that team to a Grand Slam? What was so special about it?
Ooh, I mean, okay, so it was a combination of things. I'll admit, Coach Tim always he had a knack for picking these special imports. Now, it wasn't always about the imports that the high flyer
Yeah.
or the best score. It was the best fit. Who was the best fit for us? And I mean, I remember there was maybe one or two imports that kind of didn't hold up to the rest. But for the most part, Coach Tim and him picking these imports has really just kind of changed his career. I mean, if you go back to one of his first main imports, Sean Chambers, they're still
Yes.
close.
Yeah.
You know, Marcus Blakely, one of the greatest imports. Sean Chambers, one of the greatest imports. Denzel Bowles, I mean, he had his a short little run, but he had some issues and stuff like that. But I mean, and then now look at Justin
Justin
Brownlee.
Brownlee. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are the probably the one of the greatest to ever play in import conferences in the Philippines. And that's saying a lot. We've
Yeah.
had some amazing imports come in there and play, right? So I think it's a combination of him getting imports. And again, most coaches, and again, no knock to any of the coaches in the Philippines, I promise. Like I respect all of them. But just on the level of Coach Tim, he knows how to get his teams to buy into a system. And again, there was conferences where we played horrible, and we didn't win or we didn't make playoffs or we lose in the quarterfinals. We had those conferences too. Everything wasn't always perfect,
Yeah.
but for the most part, people feared playing us in the playoffs. So we need to play basketball at the right time. And it always seemed if you just kind of look back at Coach Tim's teams, he might struggle in the elimination, but once playoffs hit, it's we're turning up. Coach
Yeah.
Tim will be the first to tell you he is not an X and O's guy, even though triangle is very particular and intricate with the movement, and you're reading your guy, you're reading the defense, and it's all reads. It's all reads. We hardly called plays. So we had to get to a point to where our knowledge of the triangle has to be on point, right? Because if one person messes up, it messes up the whole thing. So coach would tell you he's not an X and O's guy. He's a chemistry coach. For a player like me, I'm a chemistry player. I get everybody on the same page. I'll make everybody laugh. I'll hold everybody accountable. The assistant coaches too. I mean, I've had great relationships with all the coaches that I've been a part of. I'll tell you right now, Coach Richard, Coach Kirk, Big O's, you know Big O's, Olsen,
Yeah.
they do a lot. I love Coach Tim too, but they saved Coach Tim's butt a few times, you know. And
Mhm.
again, that's how it is on the
Yeah.
coaching staff, you know. So I got to give a lot of credit to those guys in particular, with because now I'm talking about Ginebra in itself because that's where I last played. But I mean that coaching staff was amazing. They care. I don't think nobody cares for their players more than Coach Kirk. I don't know if people know that.
Kirk
Coach
Collier. Yeah.
Kirk,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, he will have anybody live with him just to train, just to wake up. He will be more than glad to wake up at 4:35 a.m. to help get players ready for whatever it is, you know, and that's I don't know if all teams have coaches like that. I really don't. I really don't. It's the coaching staff that also played a great role in Coach Tim's success too. I'm sure he'll say that as well. But fans need to know the assistant coaches do way more than they think.
That's a funny story. The year before Coach Tim moved to Ginebra, I was actually in San Miguel head office, and I was joking around with a couple of their people there,
Uh-huh.
Robert Non and also John Hernandez. And I joked, why don't you just put Tim Cohn in Ginebra so Ginebra will win for a change? They were all laughing
And
about it.
then
And the next year it happened. So
and yep, and then they won just like
yeah,
that.
they won.
It
So,
was just
but you were the
like
one
that.
left behind. So how did you feel when Coach Tim went to Ginebra?
I mean, not too many people know this either, but the behind the scenes stuff. So Coach Tim left first, and I was in the
Yeah,
States. So
yeah,
when I heard this, and it was I think Pure Foods was going to have what's his name? Jason Webb
yeah.
as the coach.
Mhm.
And he's never coached. He's never I mean, he was the last assistant on our team. So when that happened, I'm like, I don't know how this is going to be. I played with Coach Tim my whole career. What am I going to look like playing for another coach? This is when I'm with Pure Foods,
Yeah.
and then sure enough, they were able to make moves, and I was able to go to Air 21, and then from Air 21, I stayed there for maybe a week or two, and then they made the trade to go to Ginebra. So I mean, it ended up working out, but I mean, when it did happen, I was like, oh no, I'm good, guys. Like I don't want to play for anybody else but Coach Tim, you know.
Okay.
So, but I mean, it ended up working out. I got there. I mean, again, it didn't take. I didn't play. It wasn't like I played a conference with Air 21. I practiced with them for like a week or two, which was a great. That was a cool experience too, just to be with a different team without Coach Tim for a couple weeks. It was different, but it didn't last too long for me to not go to Ginebra. So it worked out. I never
Yeah.
in a million years would I thought I was going to go from Pure Foods to one of the best franchises in PBA history, the best franchise in PBA history, in my opinion.
Okay, but so basically you're what Tim Cohn always has. You're like the glue guy. You're the one who keeps everybody together, keeps them
I
focused,
put
keeps them
air,
balanced.
yeah, yep. I just made, I made everybody better. I took great pride in, I knew how to make my teammates better. That's it.
Okay.
I took great pride in that. Whatever it was that needed to be done.
What was different in your role from Alaska to Pure Foods to Ginebra? Did your role change?
To be honest, it didn't really. I mean, it was more of my mentality changed when, again, it was like different phases. When I was with Alaska, I was more of that young kid that wanted to put numbers up, that cared about his stats, that wanted to prove himself. Because I'm not going to lie, too, at Alaska, I had a lot of self doubt also. It's not like I came in there and I was like all cocky. You know, I had a lot of self-doubt, a lot. People didn't know that just because I was funny and you know, I got along with everybody, but I had a lot of self-doubt. So I went from that to going to Pure Foods where it was like big names, James Yap's there, all these guys where it was like, okay, now at Pure Foods, I felt more confident at Pure Foods. So my leadership role kind of took on, that's when my real leadership role really took full effect was with those guys. My sacrifice, that's when Coach Tim really, really instilled in me the sacrifice it took to go to that next level. And I mean, look what happened. We won what 4 or 5 championships there at Pure Foods, which is pretty crazy. I go to Ginebra, and then now, okay, I'm a little bit older. My role at first was still the same. I'm still that same leader. If get buckets when I can, rebounds, lock up. So as the older I get, the more emphasis I took on locking up, on playing defense. I really, really took great pride in that. My role kind of changed from being I was like the main initiator. You know, at Alaska, I was the wing, the 5 kind of. Then at Pure Foods, I was the guard. Ginebra, I was the guard until I got, you know, a little bit older at Ginebra. Then I, you know, kind of my game was versatile. So I was always kind of going wherever is needed. But it was really the mentality is what really changed. My role was always pretty much the same from Pure Foods and Ginebra. It was almost the same. Just my mentality changed from Alaska to everywhere else, though.
But then again, you finally had the crowd behind you when you got to Ginebra. How was that different?
Gosh, the crowd, but I'm not gonna lie, being the underdog at Alaska was also fun because, and then especially when we beat these, I used to love beating Ginebra. Oh my God, it was so fun beating Ginebra. Oh, Mark Aguiwa, JJ. Oh, it was so, we would go at it, talking trash and all. It was so fun. But then when I got to Ginebra, to have that crowd was, it gave me goosebumps right now just thinking about it. Like we played in front of almost 60,000 people 3 times.
Yeah.
Funny thing is, the other day I was at the Laker game. This was like 2 days ago. It was my son's 11th birthday, so we took him to the game. Lakers versus Golden State. It was preseason. We took him there, and me and my wife, we was looking at the arena. I was like, I wonder how many there's seats because it looks like it's bigger than Araneta. I mean, I remember they would fit 25,000, 22, 23,000 in Araneta, you know, and I mean, Pure Food, Manila Classico, Pure Foods versus Ginebra. Those were, oh my gosh, those games are crazy.
What made you decide to retire the first time?
All right, so it was basically, my career kind of we won the championship. It was the one in Mall of Asia.
Yeah.
And it was with Christian Standhardinger, that team, right? Justin was there. We won. We had our exit meeting. Everything was supposed to be the same. We won the championship. We go on vacation. Everything was fine. I was supposed to come back, have a contract. Now my contract was up. I never worried about my contract my whole career, right? It was just one of them. Everything just worked out. I was lucky enough to have a wonderful career that everything just worked out. So now that time, I actually find out on a text message that the team no longer wanted me to play anymore. I was in the States when this happened. Like, that's it.
At yan ang Basketball Universe para sa araw na ito. Abangan kami Lunes, Miyerkules at Biyernes sa YouTube at Facebook. Kaya like, share, subscribe at follow na rin. Nice naming pasalamatan ang aming mga sponsors. Smart Sports, Nickel Asia Corporation. Laging tandaan, saan man kayo at ano man ang gawin ninyo, magkakampi tayo. Ako si Bill Velasco at ito ang Basketball Universe.